Hey, it's Pam Pryor, author of Your First CFO and radio host of the program Cashflow, which is also on iTunes as a podcast. And we've downloaded our 5th episode, which I'm thrilled to have out there. Can't wait for you to give it a listen. So please subscribe on iTunes so that you don't miss a trick about how to become a ninja finance entrepreneur or financially profound entrepreneur. And what we're focusing on this week is that financials aren't numbers. And that hit me when I was at an event this weekend, and I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts around that. And today's thoughts around that have to do with context. So I think one of those things that maybe makes people so averse to looking at the numbers and understanding accounting and getting into bookkeeping and all of that is that it is numbers, or it's perceived of as numbers. And frankly, I think, now that I think about it, in the small business world, I think my profession continues to treat accounting and finance as numbers. And while it's okay that the bookkeepers and the accountants do that, what I've realized is that for business owners, which is who we serve, it's not numbers. It's a story they care about. And it's a story you care about for your business. You don't necessarily just need to see a number at the bottom of a piece of paper that may lead you to kind of shove it in the drawer and say, so what, every month when you see your P&L. You really want to understand, if there's value in these numbers, turn it into a story for me. And that's the magic of what a really good CFO does. It's what a CFO does in big industry, and it's what a CFO should do for small businesses. And if you've heard me talk at all, you've heard me say that I believe that CFO services of that quality really should be available to entrepreneurs and businesses of all sizes. And to that end, I have put together a group model that makes that accessible to my clients. So when they are confronted with some sort of a challenge that involves looking at the numbers or diving into the numbers, they've got a friend in the foxhole, somebody there who can help them kind of tear it apart and look at it. But that's not actually my point today. My point today is about context. So a story makes sense because you understand where it takes place, who's involved with it, where it starts, where it's going, and what the journey looks like in between start and finish. And a story lays that out for you, and a bunch of other things that all of my literary friends would tell me. I'm talking about story in a very non-literary way. But your numbers, your finances, your accounting should do the same thing for you as a business owner. And that's what we do. And the really neat thing about it is we've made that possible for you to do as well. The book's got a blueprint where you can just lay this out and do it for yourself in your business to make your accounting and bookkeeping more meaningful. But what hit me was, when I was thinking about this, is a story always has context. And I think numbers and reports, when we get them from our bookkeepers and accountants, sometimes we just look at them in the moment and say, yes, good or bad. And the truth of the matter is, we have no idea if they're good or bad in that moment if there's no context. And there's 2 ways that we can put context to those numbers. And if you're not getting this now from your bookkeeper or your accountant, then I suggest you get a hold of them and make sure that you start getting it. Because this step alone will make all of that mush that's in the report you get each month start to make more sense. Even if you do nothing else, this will make it start to make sense, or at least a little more sense. So follow me with this. There are 2 things that can make a monthly financial report or number, say it's revenue or net income, all of a sudden have more value to you. And the first is to put it in the context of time. So the truth of the matter is, if you have a bookkeeper and they're doing your books on a monthly basis, then they have already each month's revenue number and each month's net income number. Yet oftentimes the report that's sent to you is just a financial report of how you did this month. So, and this is something that's so available in any accounting system that your bookkeeper might be using, in QuickBooks, in Xero, in any of them. Tell your bookkeeper that you really want to see a report that shows you how those numbers have performed month after month after month. And it puts them in columns for you so that you can see my revenue increased from January to June, or it decreased in the summer, or it's higher this year in November than it was last year in November. That's the first step to getting story out of your numbers. So thing number one, call your bookkeeper and say, hey, I really want to see every month when you send me this report, send me the last 12 months in one piece of paper. I don't want to have to pile through 12 pieces of paper, but send me the last 12 months with a column for each month so that I can see how things are moving. So thing number one, step number one towards getting your numbers to be more of a story and less of a nuisance is to get them to put them in context by time. And we'll talk tomorrow on another Facebook Live about another way that you can put those numbers in context. Put these two things together, and all of a sudden you've got a couple of the first steps that every large business goes through, every single one, but that's so easy for small businesses to get in place and expect out of their numbers. And we'll talk about that second one tomorrow on our Facebook Live. In the meantime, I hope you have a great day. And remember, the story is in the context. This is your first CFO signing off for today. Take care.